deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe. Oh, fire! Oh, fire! Oh, fire! Oh, fire, fire, fire! Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith.
Hi, welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and after all the technical difficulties that we just had, we're on the air live. Thank you, Jim.
Yay!
So that was Gwen saying yay because we were having some major technical difficulties. But before
Good morning, everyone.
That's Judy, our famous Judy. She's joining us via voicemail. Gwen is joining us via voicemail as well because we have some technical difficulties. But the gift is that we are doing this through Zoom, which I actually always wanted to test out, and God had us test it out today. And the good thing is that now we can have lots of different guests on the show at once, and it's very, very, very exciting for those that want to hook up via Zoom. So it's a good another branch to say that we put in our pocket, right, Jim?
Exactly.
So we only have about a half an hour to talk, but we really thought it was really important to have Gwen on as to hear what Gwen needs to share with us today because of the way that life is going right now. So we thought it was really important. She's worked in the insurance industry, medical healthcare industry for over 25 years. So she really is an important piece, especially now today. Before we get to Gwen and to Judy, I wanted to mention about the evolution that COVID is causing strokes. And because of that, we actually booked on our show Virginia Warner, who's neurologist next week, Dr. Richard Littman. If that's how you say his name, right, Judy? Littman. So he is going to be a guest on our 9 a.m. show on May 17th. So it's really important that you tune in because we want to find out how to prevent that and what we could do moving forward. That's really our mission, is to bring hope and joy to those that have suffered a stroke, but really to try to prevent strokes. And 80% of strokes can be prevented. So it really is an important show. So let me introduce Gwen. Hi, Gwen. How are you? Jim, just because Jim and I are working in two different areas. Yep. I'm in New Jersey. Jim is in Long Island. So do you have Judy and Gwen's photo up on the screen, Jim?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So Gwen is a beautiful blonde that is on the screen. And Judy, of course, is the beautiful brunette. So let's let Judy say a few words before Gwen. Judy, take it away. What do you want to say to our audience? We haven't seen you in a few weeks.
I know, and I'm working on various shows for the future, and I'm hoping that everybody is well and taking care of themselves. I noticed yesterday when I went out that some people were still not distancing themselves, but I went down to take a look at what was going on in the local park. everything was closed up, and there were so many cars parked before the park, and police were keeping people away. We must remember to take care of our health. Anxious to get back to work, and I'm sure everybody else is, and hopefully it will happen soon.
Yeah, we will. The longer we keep our distance, our social distancing from everybody, the faster we will be able to go back into the new norm, because it's never going to be the same way as it was before. While I'm thinking about that, last week's show, 2 weeks ago, April 19th, with Karen Noe, we're going to be rebroadcasting that show, because it was a really important show. It spoke about...
You don't retest it after the 10 o'clock, after the 11 o'clock?
No, Jim and I are going to schedule it. It's probably going to be at night or on the weekend one time, but we're going to schedule it. Jim will let us know before the show ends, I hope. I don't know if he's looking at his schedule.
I will.
Okay, thank you, Jim. But that really is important, because that talks about, the bigger picture with this coronavirus, and it really is important. But let's really zero in. Good morning, Gwen. How are you? Thank you so much for working with us. You're incredible.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. So, let's get right to it, because, you've been in the industry for over 25 years, in the medical health industry.
Yes. Working with insurance plans, and I would say the last 10 to 12 years working specifically with Medicare plans.
Wow. And it's got to be a question I have to ask now. So how is that going now?
Well, a lot of people are concerned about, coverage, about, what their plan will cover. And you really just have to go by the guidelines of the outline of your plan, because every plan is different. A lot of the Medicare plans out there are not charging any copays for any COVID-related testing, and that's something that you have to double-check with your carrier. But I think everybody's, concern certainly is overall, health and, getting tested and everything on time with that. So one good thing is that during different seasons out of the year, there are enrollment time periods. The standard open enrollment is the October 15th to December 7th time period. Right now, FEMA has given us a little bit of a leeway till May 31st, where if you are in a plan that's not working for you, depending on which plan you have, if it's a Medicare Advantage plan, you can look to switch plans now. So that's really becoming a comfort to a lot of people, that have a plan that they feel is not working, that they're able to get into something, that's a little bit more comprehensive. Just to highlight a few things that were available this year, Medigap and Medicare supplements are really one and the same plan. There used to be a Plan F. Plan F is still out there. The Plan F would be the higher end of the spectrum, where you would pay more premium going in, and you would have zero or no copays, going forward for your Medicare plans. So Plan F, unless you were grandfathered in, Plan F is no longer available. So now the plans that are available on the Medigap portion do encounter some copays, but it does give you a little bit of a break on the premium. So that's really the new thing that's out there as far as Medicare supplemental, or what they call Medigap plans. But there are many different plans to choose from, many different carriers. You really need to work with what your specific needs are, what your budget is. One plan is not good for everybody. That's why there's a good thing that there's a lot of choices available.
I know. So, Mike, I have a few questions.
Sure.
That's really an important information you just provided. But do you have to be a specific age to get that type of insurance?
Medicare is usually for people 65 and older, unless you are disabled. Then you are able to get it under age 65.
Okay. And how much does the cost range according to your income?
It does. The standard price of Medicare Part A, there's two parts of Medicare, Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. Medicare Part A is your hospitalization, basically your room and your board. So there is no charge for the hospital Part A. When you look at the hospital Part B, that is not your room and your board, not medicines, your doctors, your labs, your MRIs, your x-rays. There is a charge for that. That is, if your income is $85,000 or under, it's $144 a month. That will cover you for 80% of your needs as far as doctors, specialists, anything that's not hospitalization and not medications. So you're exposed now to that 20% that Medicare doesn't cover.
Now, my grandmother used to have an added insurance, like to cover her. What is that she used to have? Like, she used to have Medicare, but she used to have another insurance. They used to subsidize it.
Right. That could be one of two things. It could be the Medicare supplement, or what they used to call Medigap, where it does pick up that gap that Medicare doesn't cover, that 20% from Medicare Part B, and it also will cover on your Medicare Part A hospitalizations. It will cover the deductible. There is a $1,400 deductible on there, so they will cover that. That was really just the way people had known Medicare. It was either straight Medicare, where you would absorb that 20% and that deductible for the hospital, or you would get a supplemental plan that would pick up the gap there. Primarily, the Plan F is what people are most familiar with. But in 2006, they did come out with the Medicare Advantage plans because enough seniors had really lobbied and said, we can't afford to just stay on basic Medicare because we're still having out-of-pocket costs, and we really can't afford, a higher premium on a supplement. So they're a happy medium. So the Medicare Advantage plans were born, where it incorporates your Medicare Part A and B. It gives you some coverage for that portions that Medicare doesn't cover, and it also includes drug coverage. And it will outline, some co-payment structure on there. But the advantage of that is the premiums could be $0 per month. They could be, $29 per month. They're much more reasonable as far as premium-wise. So that seems to be a common trend that people are looking at if they do want to curb their costs. They have the premium that you pay once a month for your Medicare Part B, and then this would be an additional, if there was a premium for these Medicare Advantage plans, that would be in addition.
And how do you determine which insurances? I mean, because you probably have clients. I mean, we really do need people like yourself to help us, because insurance is one thing I absolutely don't understand. And the truth is, you don't want to get in the position where something happens and then you find out that you're not covered.
Correct. So what we do, what myself and my office does, is we will sit with you, talk over the phone, email back and forth, whatever, is comfortable for you. And we find out what your needs are. Are there certain doctors that you want to make sure in the network? Is there certain medications you really need a price breakdown for? What is your budget? Are you concerned about co-payments, or would you rather pay maybe a higher premium and have 0 to no co-payments? Everybody's needs and expectations are different. So we try to gather a little bit of information, mainly, doctors, facilities that you do frequent, your list of medications. And we want to look into the few plans that are available in your area and pick a few that would really work, that would really, cover what your needs are. The Medicare Advantage plans could be either an HMO where you would need to see the doctors that participate in network, or it could be a PPO, where it would still allow you to see some doctors out of network at a higher copayment. So some people like that feature. It gives them a little broader access to doctors.
Right.
And then we'll look at one of the Medigap plans. And we'll just do just a review of different options so people know that there's choices. If you choose a plan and you're going along through the year, open enrollment is now coming up October 15th to December 7th. Any changes made during that period are effective the first of the year. A lot of people will try one plan. It might not work. It might work wonderful, but they do have that option to change or to review what's available every year.
Oh, that's good.
So it really gives people an option to always better themselves. They're not stuck into one plan forever. They do have that option every year to change. So if new things come on the market, or if their needs change, their budget changes, their condition changes, there's always options to look at.
Well, because you get to be 65, which I'm just a few years away from. I forget how old I am. I think I was born in 63. How old am I? 63? I'm 57. Okay. I had to calculate because I forgot. I don't count the age anymore. So anyway, you already have your doctors set in place. Doctors you've been going to for years that know your history. You don't want to have to pick another doctor or change another doctor because of the insurance.
Yeah, and I understand that feeling because, over the years, maybe my health insurance has changed, and we've had to go through that, my husband and I, where we would have to pick a new doctor. And it's sometimes a very frustrating process. Yes. You're comfortable with who you have, who knows your history, who you have that rapport with. And you really want to, stick with them, especially if they're giving you good care. So that's one of the goals, is to make sure that your needs are met by a plan that you look at. So a lot of the background investigating we do on the different plans are what's going to cover, your needs, because we're not going to present something that's not going to work. Something that doesn't fit your budget, doesn't cover any of your doctors, doesn't cover medicines. I mean, we're not even going to look at that. And the best thing about it is we don't charge a fee to review your plans or to work with you, because we get compensated by the plans we represent. So, sometimes it's just a phone call, just a couple of questions. Sometimes people realize they are in the appropriate plan, and they can have a better night's sleep knowing that what they're in is really the best for their needs. They're not sleeping with one eye opening, with those what if questions.
And honestly, they should keep an open relationship with you, letting you know when things aren't working, so that you could do research and plan for when October comes. You're not waiting till the last minute.
Certainly. And I do periodically check on my customers throughout the year. A lot of them have become very, very good friends. So we have quite a frequent conversations. And there are, different things that people might be able to do mid-year. If somebody is on Epic, Epic is a pharmaceutical plan through New York State that for anybody 65 and over, if your income is under $75,000 for an individual and $100,000 for a married couple, you're able to get a discount on your copayments for medications.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes people will now be eligible for that. That's an ongoing conversation throughout the year that somebody can enroll in. That would enable a lot of people to change a plan. That's one feature that Epic does allow. So you can make a change mid-year outside open enrollment. So I always let my clients know, you can get the savings on the medications if it's available, and that's a change that could be done anytime during the year. So, a lot of times people keep that in their back pocket. They might not have many medications, but they do have the Epic, and they do know that, they can look at a different plan, need be, mid-year. But I do keep that report going all year long because things do come up. Sometimes I get a call, somebody needs to find a specialist, that might be in the network. And, sometimes the senior population aren't very internet savvy. I know myself, I have a lot of technical difficulties with new things, so it's no problem if somebody calls and we could do some research for them and, provide them some names. Sometimes it gives them a little peace of mind to just get a list in the mail,
Yes. Yes. So tell me a little bit about, because Judy wrote here, she also hosts seminars and adult education classes on the topic of Medicare to help seniors understand what their options are. Where could they find those? Do you do those online at all?
I do those online. I do have a list on my website when those do come up. Unfortunately, with this whole COVID situation, a lot of pretty much all of the spring adult education classes have been canceled because of the schools aren't open. So we're not able to get in there. We're working on hopefully getting a web seminar going forward. But what I do is I give a little class to anybody that is interested in Medicare. It could start with, I'm 62, I'm 63. What should I prepare for, when I turn 65? 3 months before your 65th birthday, Medicare will send you a letter letting you know that you are now eligible for Medicare benefits. And they will let you know you're going to be enrolled in Part A. Part A, there's no cost, and when you're 65 years old, you're automatically enrolled into that. Part B is really optional.
Gwen, I have
because if you're working, if you have employer coverage or you're covered under a spouse, and you're still working and that coverage is there, you can still maintain that coverage and not have to go out on Medicare Part B at that time. So, I educate people because they get very nervous if they miss the window. Are there going to be penalties? Are they not going to be able to enroll? So I explain, the process to enroll in Medicare. You can, call them. You can go online to Medicare.gov. And really, once they're set up in Medicare, then that's where I can come in because I can help them review how to round out their coverage, in an affordable, effective way that'll service, what their specific needs are.
Yeah, and it's really, you're really doing a service because, especially with Medicare and Medicaid, they change so frequently. And you need somebody that knows the system to support you. And that's why I love the fact that you keep a relationship up with your clients because you're able to know each client and what they need and kind of navigate suggest to them the best insurance policy to have for them.
Yes, and I love what I do. I really love what I do. I've worked in different areas of insurance throughout my career, and I really gravitated toward this field. One, I'm still fortunate to have my grandmother at 97 years old. And I know her frustrations and my mother as well. They get letters, they get mailers, they get phone calls, this is the right plan, this representative sounds nice. I want to switch everything because they said, this will be better for me. And I really felt the pull because I saw how they were affected by not being informed and trying to navigate it by themselves and making the wrong decision. So I really kind of take that going forward because I know what it's like on the other side. With my grandmother, she couldn't get, some medications covered, and she didn't realize, switching plans would be, that detrimental because the person that she dealt with at the time didn't really go through everything with her. So, I really try to be as transparent as I can, with the facts that are out there because it's, it's a very important thing. You have to get, yourself covered, especially if you have medical issues. You want to make sure specific things, aren't going to be a problem. Yeah.
Gwen, Judy has a question for you. Then we have to roll on out because we
got
in our next guest. But before Judy asks this question, I want to invite you back. Once we'll do a test run before we go on the air, so that we can be sure that we have that. But I believe what you're saying and what you're doing is really important. And I really wanted to ask how your grandmother is during this time that it's affecting our elderly family.
Oh, thank you. We're really social distancing. She does live with my mom and my uncle, so, we've been over to visit and just stand outside the window, talk through the screen, try to be at least 6 feet or farther away. Lots of phone calls. She's hanging in there. She's really trying to self-isolate, and my uncle and my mom as well. So we're really trying to minimize her exposure.
Right.
But she's doing well. We're all doing as the best as we can during this whole situation.
And she's
So
living with
so
your mother and your father? She's living with your mother and your father?
With my mother and my uncle, yeah. They all live together. So
okay,
she's
great.
not in a nursing home or anything. Yeah,
Great.
she's aging in place, as they say. So it's really great that they're able to take care of her, to let her have that at this time in her life.
Yeah, yeah. Judy, you wanted to ask Gwen a question really quick?
I just wanted to say that Gwen is available. She has spoken to Rotary clubs, and she is available for that. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. I have spoken with the Rotary Club here in Comac, Kings Park area, and I am available really for speaking engagements, one-on-one consultations. No question is a small question. We're talking about your health, your coverage. Just a quick phone call sometimes is all somebody needs for peace of mind or to be steered in the right direction. So I'm certainly, there to help, which any way I can. And, we can certainly book, seminars, if there's a larger group of people. But sometimes even if you just have a couple of people and you have coffee, it's like coffee, crotch, and questions. We sit around and we, what's on everybody's mind, and the concern. So, anything is possible.
Any service clubs to talk with.
Yes. So we have to leave because our next guest, Rob, who is an incredible individual, he is what's his position with the Gift of Life?
Gift of Life.
The Gift of Life for children. So
wonderful.
We're really touching on all spectrums of the age today. We're doing, over 65, and we're also touching on young children. So we're really gifted to do that. But we want to thank you, Gwen, for coming on, and we're really honored to have connected. And let Judy will set you up again, if you don't mind, if that's okay with you. And
that would be wonderful. Yes,
we'll test it out. Very happy. And hopefully, I hope to meet you in person one day. But until we do, this is a wonderful thing that we can connect via Zoom or Skype or something.
Yes, okay? Modern technology.
Yes. Thank you so much, Gwen. Judy will be talking to you really soon.
Okay, wonderful. All right, thank you so much.
Bye, Gwen. Bye, Gwen.
Bye-bye.
So we're gonna close out. Jim is gonna go through the system and close the show so that we could have an official hour show with Rob, who is, I've really been looking forward to interviewing and meeting Rob, and I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to do it we're going to do it via Skype, I believe. So we'll be back in 10:15. Judy, you want to say anything?
Yes, I just wanted to remind the audience that on May 17th, Dr. Libman is going to be talking about stroke and how it affects people who might have the virus. And in addition to that, on May 17th, our Executive Director of Latin Spanish Committee, Alicia Moss, is going to be discussing in Spanish our previous program, Knowledge is Power, about stroke and aphasia and how to save lives worldwide.
Yes, and I'll be discussing that with Alicia. And
we have up until now 14,554 views of the original Knowledge is Power that you and I.
Yeah, which is a privilege, really a privilege. Yeah. So, Judy, we're going to blow our kisses, and we'll be back in a few minutes. And God bless everybody. And by the way, today was supposed to be our telethon. Our telethon is now scheduled for October 3rd, I think. 4th, October 4th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Village Connection Network. And we thank Jim for always supporting us. And we'll be back. Here we go. Blow our kisses. See you in a few. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Jim, take it away.
Mi amor, yo no entiendo por qué tú más que nadie sabes qué pasó en mi vida. Yo no sé qué tú piensas, yo no sé lo que yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo. Yo no sé lo que va a pasar. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. El día que caminaste por la puerta, todas las memorias fueron